Hello, today is August 4th, 2017, and this is a tutorial video on how to create parent-child variations. And before I jump into how to do it, I want to give you a little bit of background theory on why and how we use them. So let's use a sample listing. This is not our product. In this video and future videos, I'm going to give tips, and I'm going to use just random products on Amazon so we're kind of spread across different brands and stuff like that. All right, so here is an example of the good old spatula, and this is a very popular brand. As you can see, they've got two versions of this. They've got a small one and a large one. Okay, so that's called variation, and the variation theme is size. So the reason this is we're filming this video is because we were actually able to, through the brilliance of Chelsea, as directed by one of our seller friends, to take two products that were very similar, although not exactly the same, that were totally different listings, by combining the two of them into a parent-child variation family, we'll call it, a parent-child family. What happened is, as an example, let's say you launched your product, you launched the small spatula first, and it's been around for a little bit longer. You've put a lot of money into ranking it and reviews and different things like that. And let's say you got up to 1,500 reviews, and then you decide, a lot of customers are asking for a larger version of it. Well, you could launch that larger version as a new model, completely different listing. But what happens is you launch that, it starts with 0 reviews, you have to rank it organically and all that stuff. So what we decided to do was we had a listing that wasn't performing very well. It lost a bunch of reviews in October of 2016 when Amazon changed their terms of service about you're no longer allowed to incentivize reviews. Long story short, we had one that had been around for about 3 years, 2.5 years at that point. And it had, over, I think, almost 2,000 reviews. And then the other one, in this example, we'll say the larger version, had only about 75 reviews after the TOS change. And it just wasn't ranking very well. We'd run lightning deals and different Facebook campaigns and things like that. But it was kind of a more expensive product, and I didn't want to spend a lot. So long story short, we wound up combining those two listings into two variations of the same product. And although they weren't exactly the same, this is a very obvious example, but ours is a little different. Like, let's say this one was shaped a little differently than that one. And they're not really the same product. But customers are asking, hey, why don't you have a larger version? So we combined the two listings, and pretty much overnight we tripled our sales on the larger model. Because what happens is the larger model is now borrowing traffic from this one. So this one organically is going to be ranking higher, right? And people are going to see this when they're shopping on Amazon. They're going to see the small one because it's ranking higher. But once they click on it, they go, oh, they have a larger one. So some of those people are going to click over on the larger one. So initially, we lost a few sales from the small model. People click on the listing, they see that they have a bigger one, that we have a bigger one, then they buy that one instead. But the amount of money we started making from the larger one, which of course cost more, in our case it was several dollars more than compensated for the lost sales in the smaller model. Okay? I hope you're tracking with me so far. And then over time, the larger one started ranking organically on its own because it started getting more traffic and keyword boosts from these organic sales. And then of course we up the PPC and the conversion gets better. The other thing is that let's say, again, using that example, the small one has 1,500 reviews and this one only has 50. Well, when you combine the two listings into a parent-child, what happens is all of those reviews are combined into this number up here. So instead of it saying 1,540, then it would say 1,590 if we're going to use the 1,540 and 50 example, right? So all those reviews are combined. So now people who were organically going to this model or going through PPC or whatever, when they go to the larger model, instead of it showing as 50 reviews, now it shows as 1,540. So there's a lot of benefit there. Now, this will come into conflict with some other opinions that you might have heard or strategies where people say, sellers might tell you, you should launch products and don't bundle them, or sorry, don't, bundle's not the right word. Don't create parent-child listings, because what can happen is basically you lose real estate. Real estate is this word that they use a lot on Amazon, meaning if I go back to my spatulas listing here, why would I only want, let's say these are two different organic search results, right? Why would I only want one listing showing up on a search result if I could have two? Well, that's absolutely correct, and I agree with that. I'm not trying to discount or discredit that tactic, but if in this case that's obvious, they're both on page 1, they both have a lot of reviews, each of these two listings are ranking organically very, very well. Now these are sponsored ads, but you get what I'm saying as an example. But let's say this one was on page 12 and it only had 10 reviews. I don't care about the real estate if it's not converting well. If I can get better conversion and more reviews just by tacking it onto a really high ranking product for a while until it really gets its own reviews and really grows its own legs, then I can separate the variations and take that real estate at that point. So that's kind of our strategy, right? Similar products, very, 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 very similar, where Amazon won't yell at you for making them parent-child variations. So let's talk about how to do that. I hope this is all making sense so far. So in your Seller Central account, you're going to click on inventory, and then you're going to go to add a product, just like you're creating a brand new product. And that will bring you to this page. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to create what's called the parent listing. And this does not actually show up on Amazon. This is basically, I'll call it like a placeholder where you're going to put the two versions, these two other existing listings, you're going to combine, put both of those under this parent. So let me just tell you up front, you're not going to hurt your Amazon listings. You're not going to be taken down if you don't violate their terms. This doesn't mess up their catalog at all. All you're doing is you're simply repositioning two listings under one parent. Okay, that's it. So we're going to go create a new product listing here. And then you're going to, generally they're going to ask you to find a category. I'm just making sure that we're not missing anything. So let's say it's spatulas. And this is real time. All right, so kitchen ladles, icing spatulas. We'll just choose spatulas, okay? So obviously you would choose the subcategory that is correct for your product, right? And I'm assuming you know that. I don't need to explain that. Vital info, we'll just, whatever the title is for your main product, you're pretty much just going to use that. But again, this particular listing that we're building right now is just we'll call it the dummy or the placeholder, the parent listing that does not actually show up on Amazon. The only thing that will show up on Amazon are the two listings that you already have that you're going to combine into the two variations. So in this case, let's just call it spatula, just to make it simple, right? And then later on, we're going to create two variations under this. So we want to type under vital info, just basic product name, and only fill out the spots that are marked in red. So under offer, actually let's go back. Yeah, under offer they make you put in at least one quantity, condition new, of course, your price, whatever it is. Let's see, you got to give it some kind of a number. And then under variations, we're going to select a variation theme. Now generally what I recommend, it kind of depends on what you're trying to create here. A little anecdote story. The first parent-child variation that we did, we chose material type as a theme because we were selling these kitchen products, and they were basically exactly the same, only they had a slightly different shape. Now, as you can tell, shape is not an option here. So I was talking to someone on Seller Central, and I was like, I don't know what variation theme to choose because really the only difference is it's a slightly different shape. And he goes, well, he goes, it doesn't really matter which theme you choose material type. So I chose material type, and it worked, but unfortunately what happened was, when I choose material type, going back to this example here, it didn't give me previews, and I actually want the, similar to this, it didn't give me little thumbnail images, and I want the thumbnail images, okay? So this probably isn't the best example, but I want 2 images right here instead of just words, small and large. I actually want 2 images. So what I recommend for that is, what I've done in the past to make it work better is I choose color. Okay, so color could be, I mean, we had one that was like, we called one stainless steel and the other one brushed aluminum. They were actually made of the same thing, and stainless steel and brushed aluminum pretty much look the same. So we changed it from material to color, and then we were able to actually see the thumbnail images. All right, don't worry about this. This is just a warning that says you need to specify at least blah, 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 blah. That means you need to actually add the variations down here. So for color number 1, for the spatula, we'll call it black. And then you actually have to tab out of that and then click on Add Variation. So here is our black variation, and then we'll add an additional variation, and maybe we'll call this one, matte black or something, or maybe black. Maybe we'll call it, I don't know, dark, whoops, if I can spell, dark gray. Just, I'm making this up as I go, guys, bear with me. Okay, so now we've got the bare bones of the 2 variations down here. So now what we got to do is they whatever, they ask you for a color map. I don't care. These are arbitrary numbers or words. All that's we're just choosing the color variation that's going to show up here. Okay, so it's whatever, instead of size large, it'll say color gray. So I'm trying to give you a real example. Square versus rectangular. It doesn't really matter. The pictures are going to communicate more than the words, I guess is what I'm getting at. So don't put too much significance on the colors here. The SKU, now I'm not going to actually go into my seller account and show you all my SKUs and stuff, but all you do is copy and paste your SKU from your inventory page. Product ID, you can just select ASIN. If you're using an existing listing that you already have on Amazon, copy and paste your ASIN. So the SKU and the ASIN, you just copy and paste those from both of your existing current listings, all right? Of course, condition, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. We're going to select new on both of them. And then whatever your price is for each of the 2 products. And quantity, whatever quantity it says you have in FBA right now is what I would put in there. Okay. Now, let's put in a product ID. I don't know if it'll actually let me do it. Let's see if this works here. Yeah, okay. I'm making up fake numbers, as you can tell. Let's just try this. I'll just change the last one here. All I'm trying to do is fill out the necessary fields so that you can see those are all the fields you have to fill out, and then you click Save and Finish. What'll happen is, and again, I'm not going to show you in my seller account, but when you go to your inventory page, you will now see a new listing on all of your inventory. On your inventory page, it'll say a new listing. It'll say probably suppressed, and it'll have no image, and it'll just say, under title, it'll just say spatula and $15.95, whatever, right? And then what'll happen is, since you are adding these 2 SKUs, we'll put a fake number in here, boy 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, just so you don't have any empty spaces, and I want to put it on this video that you need to have real numbers in there. Okay, so once you have all this information filled out and you save this, you're actually taking these two SKUs from Amazon's catalog and you're putting them under this parent listing. For the few times that I've done this, it took about 10 or 15 minutes. And when I went to my inventory page and refreshed after 10 or 15 minutes, there it was. There was now, instead of two listings, right, there was one listing with a drop down arrow. And when I clicked the drop down arrow, it showed these two under it. And lo and behold, within a few minutes on Amazon, there it was. I now had these little buttons, and I use my thumbnail images. It'll just automatically pull your main image from both of your two listings. So that showed up, and it was awesome. And then it took a couple of days before all the reviews showed up. One thing I do want to caution you about is make double, triple sure that you've chosen the correct category on all three of them. They all have to match up. So if you're creating this new parent listing under the subcategory spatulas, make sure that the two variations also are in the same subcategory. That's very important. All three of them have to match in subcategory, or what'll happen is within a couple of days, this is what happened to us, the parent-child thing just fell apart and it didn't show up on Amazon anymore because I had I had two different products plus a parent, and the three subcategories didn't match up. So just make sure you choose the best category for all three products. And if you do change a category on one, you have to change it on all three. So just to reiterate, this is kind of your dummy listing. It doesn't show up on Amazon. This is just a placeholder for these two, okay? All you need to fill out is your product name, the product variation information here, which I just walked you through, and I believe there was something else. Probably that's it, actually. I think there was a price somewhere under offer. There was something somewhere else. But that's about it. And then click and save. And like I said, it takes about 15-20 minutes. There you go, or 10 or 15 minutes, and it should show up live on Amazon. That's all I've done. You can also use an inventory flat file to do this. I find that to be a little bit complicated. If you don't know what an inventory flat file is, I'm actually going to cancel all of this. Well, no, I'm not. If you don't know what an inventory flat file is, it's essentially an Excel spreadsheet that you can download and probably call Seller Central, have them walk you through it, but there's different flat files for each category and subcategories as well sometimes. But this is the easiest way to do it. You don't need to use a flat file. I wouldn't recommend using a flat file. This takes about 15 minutes and you're done. I hope you found this helpful. And just kind of as a strategic thing moving forward. So when we did that with our product, just to kind of tell you the end of that story, the large model that I was telling you about that was selling pretty slowly, since it's been doing this, we did this about a month ago, and the large product was selling about $50 to $100 a day in sales, and now it's selling about $800 to $1,000 a day, and we're slowing down sales on purpose because we're actually starting to run out of inventory. So we have 10x'd the sales on that product, and the sales on this one have also gone up. I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think Amazon likes to see parent-child listings. I think that Amazon's algorithm does a little bit favor parent-child listings and variations. The more variations, we call this driving a listing deep. Instead of going wide would be, multiple listings that are not connected with each other. Driving a listing deep means building variations within one product. It's actually an easier way to launch products because you're borrowing all the reviews and a little bit of the ranking from your other one, and so it costs less to launch new products. And Amazon apparently seems to favor that from what I've seen. So moving forward, what we're going to do is we're going to take, as we're launching products, we'll take the very best ones that do the best, and then we will launch variations of those as a strategy moving forward. And that seems to be a pretty good strategy to get more of the marketplace. All right, guys, thanks for watching.